What's going on, Babylonians? It's me, Songs of Rage, and today we'll be having a dive into all the winners and the losers for the weapons when it comes to the Eternal Conflict update for Rogue Company. Now we'll have a look into all the new damage profiles compared to each other, how the accuracy profiles affect certain weapons, and what's now good and bad to use in the game, so you know what weapon masteries are the best to aim for. We will be doing a lot more guides on Rogue Company in the future, so if you want to see all this and more, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But with all that out of the way, let's get the video started. Alright, so to better understand what did get changed and how these stats affect your potential in game, it's worth looking over the patch notes and then breaking it down from there. Starting with the pistols, 3 of the 6 choices were touched, with the Executioner received a slight bump in damage across the board at all ranges, but then got hit with a reduced accuracy and reduced mag size to compensate, bringing it a little bit closer to that of the LW6 revolver, but now struggling at longer ranges to ping a couple of deterrent shots. The Spitfire also got hit massively in this patch, having a similar fate of the SMG category, having its range reduced by 2 meters and 4 meters, losing its range boosting upgrade on its level 1 capability, and in place for a reload speed bump, and lastly losing any accuracy help from the mods for crouching and jumping. Now while the Spitfire was a great pistol for most engagements, this did hurt its viability massively, but we'll cover that in the DPS sections. And lastly, we just get to see changes to the Warrant, reining in its damage potential and base ADS accuracy. For the Assault Rifle category, we get to see one massive tweak session for the HRM and a text change for the Sahara Assault Rifle. So overall, the AR category was largely untouched, but looking at the HRM though, we have a reduction to headshot damage from 42 down to 38, a reduction in fire rate, a whole bunch of accuracy changes including hipfire penalties, a moving accuracy penalty added in, loss of accuracy on sustained fire, but then some general improvements to the recoil plots. And then just to really top it all off, the upgrades also got tweaked too, reducing the mag size of level 2 from 30 down to 25, and the level 3 recoil upgrade adjusted, so it was still going to be an improvement on the base recoil plot. Overall, with these changes, it may be a case the HRM is a more balanced weapon, rather than the powerhouse it always has been up until now. And now as for the Sahara though, the inconsistent fire rate has been addressed, meaning it will always be a fire rate of 7.04 regardless of upgrade level, so there's going to be no more random increases when upgrading your weapon. And lastly, we need to look at the SMG category, as Hi-Rez are still looking to fine tune these to the playstyle more fitting of the close range bullet hose that they are intended for. Now while the Mad Mercs update affected a few of the SMGs with the bloom and accuracy changes, the Eternal Conflict update looks to bring every single one of the SMGs in line, but then take a step further just to ensure no long range fights happen with these guns. In the patch notes we get to see a global change, giving the SMG category the only 3rd damage fall off threshold in the game, meaning after a certain level your bullets become Ps in most cases. Now starting with the D40C, the gun received a bit of a buff in some areas, improving its base hipfire and bloom recovery, helping with the accuracy penalties that it did receive in its last patch. On top of this, the max accuracy loss was reined in a little, and the first damage fall off down was also bumped up a little, helping with those close to mid-range fights. The LMP also received buffs, having its base hipfire accuracy and the ADS accuracy mods for leveling increased, so should help with pushing the ranges on firefights with this gun, moving it into more of the SMG AR hybrid that they plan to put this in. And the Knight also gained some buffs in the case of the base hipfire, base ADS accuracy bumped up, while the accuracy loss per shot and maximum values being brought down, so sustained fire is going to be a little bit easier to be able to land. Unfortunately, this is kind of where the good news ends, as the following weapons got hit relatively hard in the patch, starting with the SLC having its headshot damage reduced, its range slashed by about 5 meters for each threshold, the crouching accuracy mod being removed, and its base hipfire and ADS accuracy is slashed. It did receive a jump penalty reduction though to help mobility wise, but overall this was going to be a bad patch for the SLC. The 24S didn't fare too well either, with much of the same as what the SLC faced, but harsher range penalties up to 7 meters in one case, and lastly the mag size upgrade being cut down from 40 down to 36 bullets in total. The objection is now getting closer to being that bullet hose SMG niche that Hi-Rez have in mind, but its base stats got cut hard, with the headshot damage being reduced across the board, but an overall increase to body shots. The base mag size also got reduced by 25%, the reserve ammo cut overall to roughly about 10 less than before, its damage profile got amended but works out to be worse in one case and better overall in the other, and reload times slightly increased and the base hipfire being worse. Overall, a mixed bag for the objection. And then lastly we do have the Ibex, which was designed to be more accurate burst SMG, taking solace in its accurate burst and rewarding less aggressive play. Now though, with the bloom changes for the whole SMG class, it'll be interesting to see what position this can now hold. Head and body damages were increased across the board, but the burst fire was reduced from 5 bullets fired every single burst to 4, along with a rate of fire reduction to account for the increase in figures. The mag size was also changed from 30 down to 28. Most accuracies were hit stat-wise, but the accuracy return between bursts and the overall recoil is apparently reduced, helping with those close to mid-range fights and landing consistent shots. Alright then, so patch notes are out the way, that's what we've been told. So what does this actually mean for in the cases of damage, range and TTK numbers for all of the classes, and do we now have a more dominant weapon meta, or have things barely kind of shifted? Fortunately for you, I do have all of these answers. Starting with the AR category, the only change we saw was to the HRM, but what this means is the body damage profile stayed the same, while the headshot damage profile was reduced from 42, 37, 32 down to 38, 33, 29, and the rate of fire went down from 400 to around about 370 rounds per minute. Ultimately though, this is a nerf across the board for all TTKs for the HRM, but this does then bring it back down into the mix with the other ARs, dropping it to dead last for body shot TTK, but second for headshot TTK across all ranges for the AR category, only beaten by the Riptide due to its insane crit multiplier. SMG wise, the introduction of the third damage drop off really does turn the screw on the category at long range. Even the Knight will start to struggle to perform after 25 meters, resulting in 10 damage for body shots and 14 if you even manage to pull off a headshot with the inaccuracy, still requiring around about 8 to 10 shots to be able to land on a 100 HP player, and even more for any armor that you need to factor in. The worst case is the objection SMG now, meaning almost a full clip of body shots at 25 needed to land to be able to down a player 20 meters or further away, and to make it even worse, due to the low crit multiplier that gun sports, headshots offer no assistance in this, so will always stay at 25 shots down. The SLC, 24S and Ibex now having the inaccuracy and bloom issues that the other SMGs got with the last patch, makes players who were used to them second guess their go-to SMGs now. As for the TTK tables, interestingly we've had a shift about due to the damage profiles being adjusted, with the objection being the best body shot TTK up close, and then being one of the slowest with pure crits brought into the mix. But the real loser of the category though will have to be the Ibex, being the second worst SMG to use body shot and crit shot wise up close, then all the way up to 25 meters, to which it then becomes the best SMG by a mile. Good luck hitting those shots consistently though, because purely looking at TTK numbers, the SLC, the 24S and the Knight are still decent options to use, just always be mindful of the accuracy changes when you jump in game. Lastly, let's look at the pistol category, with the Executioner getting a nice damage bump, meaning it can now 5 hit kill at all ranges, reduced to 4 with all of those shots being headshots, due to the extra point of damage it received after 25 meters. As for the warrants, the damage profile change hurt it in most cases, resulting now in an extra shot to kill after 10 meters, and then even needing 2 more body shots between 15 and 20 meters. But all of this pales in comparison to the absolute shafting that the Spitfire received, allowing it to keep its damage profile up to 10 meters unchanged, but 15 meters onwards the damage drops off to 4 on the body and 6 on a headshot, offering a absolute pitiful damage profile and time to kill, meaning either 25 body shots or 17 headshots in a row are now required for a down in this range. When you think the Spitfire only comes with 15 bullets in its magazine as default, you can see that we're going to need to be able to get a reload in just to be able to even compete with that range. Now with this in mind, it's hard to ever offer anyone use the Spitfire unless you're up in their face, especially now the upgrades offer nothing to increase this lethality. As for TTK chart-wise, the Spitfire does still lead up to 5 meters with the best TTK for body shots and second best when it comes to headshots, but once you're up to 15 meters it falls off into dead last every single time, and it's not even close. As for pistols of choice, the Warrant is still up there with its forgiving fire rate and mag size up to 25 meters, which is pretty much all you need your pistol to be able to cover, and the P12K and the LW6 revolver are great choices for landing consistent headshots, and the Executioner is a decent choice and probably the best at using on ranges over 25 meters in case that's more of your thing. So that's all the changes in the game with the patch and all the numbers you could possibly want to assist with your choices. This just leaves me to be able to summarise who are going to be the ultimate winners and losers when it comes to this patch. Winners wise, we didn't get many unfortunately. The majority of the patch was nerfing certain guns to balance them out and fit certain playstyles better, but we can take a few, with the Executioner having a more consistent damage profile at longer ranges, even if the accuracy changes and mag size change will also affect it slightly. The Objection had a massive DPS increase for its close range viability, propelling itself from last to first when it comes to body shot TTKs within 15 meters, so we may want to start to see more of that gun appear around the game modes. Weirdly though, the Riptide, even though not changed in any capacity in this patch, is a winner due to the changes to the HRM, allowing the Riptide to beat it in every single TTK category now, and makes it the premier headshot weapon of choice, boasting the best headshot TTK at every single range, and only beaten out by 2 snipers and 1 DMR rifle. And lastly, we also have the Warrant, having its TTK after 25 meters boosted and no other TTK stats affected, allows it to be one of the better semi-auto pistols to take with you on all characters. Losers wise, we do have a bunch, but most notably will be the Spitfire and the whole SMG class, purely for the damage changes they received, with all becoming pea shooters after 15 meters for the Spitfire and 20 to 25 meters for the SMGs depending on the weapon. While some did gain some accuracy improvements, the whole category as a whole feels very inconsistent right now, and the damage profile at range really just sticks it to them having any kind of hope of engaging outside of close range. The HRM has fell from grace a little with the changes to its recoil, accuracy on range and fire rate reduction, all compounding into an unforgiving gun that just about clings onto a decent TTK for pure crit shots on all ranges. But with the changes, it will take the community some time to be able to get used to it again before it sees any kind of resemblance of meta relevance. And with that, it pretty much wraps it all up for the winners and losers weapon-wise when it comes to the Eternal Conflict patch for Rogue Company. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on all these changes. Do you think they were needed, or just gone a little bit too far in some cases? Personally, I think the Spitfire change was a bit harsh for what was needed, but I guess time will tell if players start gravitating towards other options. Massive thank you for making your way to the end of this video. If you want to see more from us at Babylon, then make sure to click that subscribe button so you never miss out on a future video. I am planning on covering some more Rogue Company videos in the future, so stick around for some more number crunching and analysis videos coming your way. But anyways, with all that out of the way, it just leaves me to say, keep yourselves safe, keep yourselves well, and we'll see you all on the next video.